So today's video is a Builder Gel infill. If you grab a brew, take a seat, then we'll get started. So we're going to start by doing a full removal of all of the gel polish. I try and get around about 80% of the product off, leaving just a very thin layer of the gel. I'm using, I think it's just a medium bit here from Hayley Winder. I like a safety top bit when I'm working on a client, especially with gel, because it means that it's a lot easier to use and I'm much less likely to hurt my client or catch them. I do have some really nice 5-in-1 bits, but I just find these work really, really well. You'll see here I can even actually reduce the length of it a little bit using that particular bit, so highly recommend. And if you haven't already and you are enjoying this video, please do drop us a like and subscribe and share the video to anyone you think it might help. It really does help the channel. It means that I can do more of these videos for you. So you'll see here as well, I don't know whether you noticed there, but I use my fingers to pull the client's skin back. Remember, you're in control of your working area, so ask your client to move where you want them to move. Hold the skin back if you need to. This client is fantastic, to be honest with you. She's one of my regulars, and she just, she's got quite a heavy lifestyle, to be honest with you, but the gel, as in, she does a lot. She walks dogs, she lifts weights, so she's always on the go and always using her hands, and to be honest, her gels last really, really well. She's also got quite a high C curve, so while the product might look a bit thicker there, it's not. Again here, you'll notice I'm just kind of taking it off. I'm always moving that e-file bit, because if you keep it still, you're going to burn your client. It's as simple as that. So I'll try never to work in the same place in like more than 1 or 2 swipes. I'm quite gentle. You could probably get away with using a bit more speed. You'll see again there, I'm just using my fingernail just to pull the skin back there, just so I can get right in there. And you'll see that safety course bit is not going to hurt my client at all. So again, just taking that all off there. But yeah, I could probably apply a bit more pressure or work a bit quicker. But I am very lucky with my clients, and a lot of them are very good friends now. So we tend to sit and chat. And I'm not on a time schedule, so that always helps. So you'll see, just to get in the side there, I can even turn that drill bit round and get right into that sidewall there. Honestly, this is, like I said, I can't emphasize enough how much I love this. This one was from Hayley Winder, but most places will do them. I like a medium, and the joy with a medium is you can actually take off gel polish off normal, or even a fine bit, to be honest with you, but you can take it off just a normal base. So if you just had a normal gel polish, you can actually take the colour off using one of these bits. It's fantastic. So once we've done all that, we're going to go back in and push the cuticles back. This particular cuticle pusher is from Sunshine. If you go to the link in my bio, I have all of the information there of all of the items that I actually that I use. Well, most of them. But if you do have any questions, please do pop them on the bottom of the video. The engagement really helps, and I love talking to you all because it's really useful to find out what you need to know and what you're interested in. So again, pushing that right back. Again, she uses a cuticle. Honestly, she's the perfect client. She uses a cuticle oil, so the cuticles just push right back, dead easy. Then I'm going in with the tiny cuticle bit. It's quite a fine grit, this one. It might be fine to medium, but it's very, very easy and gentle. And I just use that to lift the cuticle a little bit more and clean off that nail plate. You'll notice there's a few tiny bits of colour on there. Don't worry about that if you do leave a few bits. Rather than going back in again and again with a metal bit, I'll just take that off with my e-file because I do use a sanding band. And if you use a hand file again, it'd come off really, really quickly when you were actually doing your final refine before application. Now, this next bit, it does depend on how the client's cuticles are looking that day. Again, like I said, she uses quite a lot of oil, so I find just a lot of exfoliation works really well on her. So I am just going in with a round bit on this particular set, just to lift that cuticle bit up further and also exfoliate off any excess. It just means that I've got to nip less, and I find that you get much less regrowth when you do an exfoliation rather than trimming. I've got a couple of pairs of scissors, so I've used both just to show you. These ones are from Sunshine Equipment, really good cuticle scissors. They are great, particularly when you've got slightly larger nails like thumbnails and that kind of thing. I find them really, really handy for that. You'll notice I'm really delicate there. I'm only trimming non-living tissue. Now on this nail, I found these to be just a touch on the large side. Some people prefer these, but me, I love my Katie Barnes miniature scissors, which you'll see I bring out in a moment. I'm also using the back of my nail there just to lift up that cuticle, but these scissors are great. I just don't always find they get in enough, whereas if you look at my Katie Barnes ones, they're straight in and boom, all that cuticle's off. I like to move it out of the way and just make sure I'm kind of guiding that so I'm not it's not getting caught or anything or pulling my client. But a lot of my clients say this bit's their absolute favourite bit. I think in this particular set I might go over briefly with smoothing, but just to smooth the nails afterwards. But you don't need to do that in all honesty. I'm just a faff. I like to kind of go in and make sure it looks perfect. Next, we're going to go in with a sanding band. This is the mini sanding band from Katie Barnes. Really like this. It just gets right into those cuticle walls. Now, again, before I was saying that I actually use my fingernail to hold down the side walls. I also use it to hold back. So the way I'm holding my fingers there, I'm actually kind of pulling the cuticle back a little bit and out of the way of the e-file. But I'm just basically tidying that up, getting off any extra polish, removing any length, and just all I'm doing is mainly etching that nail plate. So a really light tickle. I'm not applying much pressure at all, and it's on an incredibly low speed. I'm talking literally like normally 2. I have it on, if your e-file won't go that low, maybe a 3, 4 maximum. But if it doesn't go any higher than, if it won't move when it's as low as that, so say it kind of skips and that kind of thing, I would recommend probably just getting into using your hand file, in all honesty, or get an e-file that does have a better torque and will go a little bit lower. Now, I haven't included as much in this one, but I do like to cleanse and dehydrate the nail plate before using a mixture of acetone and alcohol. It's like my own version of swipe. Then I go in with the Systems primer. Now, this one is from Jellifique. I love Jellifique. I've got an unboxing coming soon, so if you're interested in their product and want to know a little bit more, let me know in the comments. I just find their applications lovely. The pigment's really nice, and I really recommend them. I totally rate them. So I am just going over that nail only where there's regrowth really, and where there's maybe a bit of product missing. That one I think I'd filed off the majority of it, so I've just gone over the whole nail. Then I use the Super Bond base from Jellifique. Again, this particular client can be quite heavy on her hands, so I like to make sure that there's a lot of extra protection to make sure these nails really last for her. Also, I do alternate hands, so I will do kind of alternate fingers rather than alternate hands. So once I've done this, I will go to her other hand, her right hand, once I've done her left hand while the right one's in the lamp. So one thin layer of that, give it a really good scrub in with the brush, make sure it's nice and kind of in there, and you will have a really, really good layer for your product. I very rarely soak off. I always try and use a clear layer and file off the majority of the product so I can always see the health of the nails underneath. Next, we want to go in and we'll do a slip layer first. So you'll see I do that slip layer and then I guide it down the nail, and then I am just literally covering that nail. Now I don't cure that. Then I will get just the tiniest little bead in a moment. So you'll see again, I'm just smoothing that down. I want to make sure that's as perfectly kind of fitting to the nail as possible, just like that, and that's all down that sidewall there. Then I will grab a little bead, normally from the inside of the neck of the jar where the gel's kind of collected, you'll see there, and then I will apply because it's an infill. Like I say, I haven't removed most of the product, but I don't like them to be too thick. I'm just putting a small bead there, and then I'm just floating that down the nail. I will normally go in with that afterwards with a liner brush, and then I will get that shape in, and I'll just give that a really good refine with the file afterwards. But in a second I should go in with a liner brush. You'll see here this one's from CJP, Line It Fine. Really good brush this. And I just kind of coax that where I want it to be. Again, I love the Jellifique gels because they apply really nicely and they self-level really well, but without running all over the place. So you'll see there, really nice shape, putting the apex back in. Really happy with this particular application. This nail is ever so slightly dipped at the free edge, so I will always try and make sure I get a little bit of extra product teased towards the end. So again, you'll notice that I'm just kind of making sure that's fully kind of covered, and I don't end up with a bump, because sometimes one of the problems I can have with this particular nail is that it can end up with a bump in the middle because it scoops down at the tip. So I will just bring that brush back, and I'll make sure that the product goes back into the apex, and I'm not kind of leaving too much product around the middle of the nail, and at the end of the nail is really well covered. Once I've done all that, I'll cleanse that using a lint-free wipe, and normally just alcohol at this point. And then I'll go in with an e-file bit. I'm using the 5-in-1 mini bit from Willow Academy. Again, Katie Barnes also sell them, and Sunshine, I think now, but there's a larger. But yeah, perfect bit for refining this. Absolutely love it. It's particularly good for builder gel, because it's not too harsh and it doesn't kind of take chunks out of it or anything. But I will normally go around the cuticle first, and then I will go kind of down the length, making sure I take off any bumps, and then side to side again. All of these bits that I'm using are pretty safe to use to reduce the free edge, which I really, really like. So it just goes to show how safe they are and gentle if used correctly. And if you've stayed this long, thank you so much. But can I ask if you like these little bits where I'm leaving in my faffing? Do you want this bit do you want it kind of kept for the full length for one of the nails and then sped up for the rest of them? I'd love to know what your favourite kind of way of viewing is. So again, let me know in the comments. I really do love to hear from you and chat to you. So you'll see here the application is not thick, it's a good layer. She has a really good C-curve, so you don't need an awful lot, and it can make them sometimes, if you're not careful, look a little bit thicker than they actually are, but certainly there's not a lot of product on this nail and they last really well. With some clients that are more heavy-handed, I find actually using a slightly thinner product does help because it flexes more with the nails. With Jellifique, you need to refine the tip at the end afterwards. Normally I'll do that after filing as well. I'm not sure I've done that on this this one. But yeah, so I will in a minute go in, and again, I'm going in with my hand file because I'm a faff. But if you're happy with this, you don't necessarily need to do that if you've been able to get that all done with your e-file. Sometimes I will use the Willow e-file bit and then I'll just buff over the top of them, but I must have been having a day where I wanted to make sure they were absolutely spot on for her. I was most definitely having a faffy day today. So I have used the normal armour base coat, I think it is, or the microcrystal base coat. Sometimes I do this just because I find it gives extra good adhesion. Again, for this particular client, she does, bashes her nails a lot, so it just means that I get really, really good retention for her. Next, we're going with colour. Now, I did mix this colour with a couple of Gelaphite colours, I think, and I am going in with a painter brush, and what I'm doing with the first layer is I'm going relatively thin, and I am just literally, I've mixed that in, but I bought some empty pots from CJP, and they're great for that. So I am literally just coaxing that up towards the cuticle, and again you'll see I go in with normally I'll go with a fine liner as well after that. I tend to only do that on the first coat because you only really need to. The first coat for me is about kind of getting some coverage on the nail and making sure the nail plate is covered as much as possible, because that will make that second coat go on so much quicker. Yeah, you'll see here I just very gently just use the tiniest bit of gel, and I am just going around the cuticle. Sometimes you might not even need to do that, but because I'd gone in with a quite thin layer, I didn't want to kind of spread that out any thinner than it already was. After that, give it a good cure, and then you're going to go in with your second coat, again using your liner brush wherever need to. I'll let you watch the rest of this, and then I'll come back in a little bit. Once that's all done and cured, I'll give that a cure in the lamp, and then I will go in with my top coat. This one is I think it's the Diamond Shine top coat from Jellifique. Lasts really well. It's always still shiny when it comes back. I love it on both gel and acrylic. Then I'll finish off with some cuticle oil and you're done. I hope that helps, and I hope you've enjoyed it. And if you've got any questions, let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching.